Well, hello, everyone. This is Dr. Donetta Watson from the Black Mastermind Group, Charitable Foundation. And I'm getting used to saying that whole government name, the Charitable Foundation. What we do is in this 501c3 organization, we raise money so that we can put Black entrepreneurs into the training program that we offer to provide access to capital. That's the number one missing link to all of our businesses, being able to access capital. One of the most premier things that will help create sustainability in our community. And oftentimes we run our businesses on the revenues. It's called bootstrapping the revenues. Dangerous, dangerous, dangerous place to be in and running a business. And as well, the potential for growth is diminished when you're operating the business and trying to grow it or stabilize. Well, let's back up. Just trying to stabilize it, the first phase of business, creating stability inside the organization and the things that are necessary, the people that are necessary in the process to create stabilization in your business. And then to move past that into the next phases of business where you're trying to sustain what you've created. The dollars necessary to put systems and structure in the organization so that it will eventually scale. Not in the first 3 years, not in the second trimester, which is 3 years, but in the third trimester of business, where you have put the right systems and strategies in place. Now the business will scale on its own. Growth is automatic. When you have put the right systems, the right processes, the right people, the right procedures in the equation, ladies and gentlemen, growth is automatic. There isn't anything you have to do to make the business grow. It'll grow. It'll begin to open up opportunities because you positioned it for that. You have structured it to grow. And that is indeed a 3 trimester process. So by the time you're 9 to 10 years into business, you should be a millionaire. Just that simple. You let us show you how. And that's what we do in our organization. We shift the mindset from just running a hobby, hookup, or hustle. We don't do hustling in this organization. We don't do hookups either in this organization. It is time for us to do real business and create business models that are fundable. That 83% of Black entrepreneurs not being able to or ever have been able to qualify for accessing capital, that's no more. It is time for us to be playing this game by the rules of the game. And ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot of rules to this game of business. And we've been striking out every time we come up to bat because we swing at everything. And because we're swinging at everything, we're doing any and everything imaginable to run a business. We've got 4 and 5 business models. And I do this. And oh, by the way, I do this too. And oh, I also have this business. That's swinging at everything. That's hustling, trying to get a dollar in the door. That's not business. And if you are one of those people, let us help you to get a sustainable business model position, because I guarantee you, you'll never qualify for funding when you're swinging the bat at everything. That means you're going after every possible pot of money you've seen somebody else making a dollar at. That's not business. That's not the game of business. And consequently, we find ourselves in those categories and no one will touch us. I wish you knew what lenders say behind your back when you leave their organization. If you watch Shark Tank, it'll teach you a lot, because they'll tell the person that's pitching in a heartbeat, can't touch you. You're all over the place. You don't have any focus. You have no direction. You no commitment. And business requires a singleness of focus to be successful. You cannot be a jack of all trade and master nothing in business. You've got to master the first thing first, and then open up revenue streams that support the first thing. That's a fundable business model. That's a business model that can access capital. That's a business model that can employ people, because you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, but statistics have proven 94% of Black entrepreneurs employ absolutely no one in their business. And we wonder why Black unemployment rate is so high in our community because everyone employs their people. And now we've got to create business models that can put people that look like us to work, that can create opportunities for people that look like us. That's what our challenge is. That's what we're teaching. That's what we're training people on. You know, I talked to a young man just earlier today who said, "This sounds too good to be true." Well, it's about time we get the truth and the good things that come with truth. If we can digest truth, then we can move our community further. And we're on a truth-filled lesson process in this organization. We're not going to lie to you. We're not going to tell you you got a hit when it's not a hit. You got to wonder. You got something you got to sit up all night and try to figure out how you're going to make money from it. That's not business. That's hobbies and hookups. And we want to teach you, yes, there are rules to the game of business, and we want everybody getting a fair opportunity to swing the bat and hit a home run, and not swing at everything that possibly comes your way, but to have a very clear focus about what you're called to do, where your anointing and gifting and talents and abilities lie, and how to turn that into a successful, sustainable business model. You know, our conference coming up this weekend is one of those pathways that we introduce this organization. We do the conference for two reasons. And the first reason is to celebrate the students that have completed our business mastery program. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not easy. If it was, everybody be in the seat. Wouldn't have any credence or value. We intentionally take entrepreneurs through a 2-month intensive accelerated program. And I guarantee you, when they're done, every single one of them are shocked at what they've been able to complete, because we teach them how to structure the financial side of business, how to do their annual and monthly and annual budgets, how to determine cash flow for 3 years, plus profit projections. Then we teach them how to do a balance sheet and a profit and loss statement, something our community doesn't have a good handle on. That's why many of our businesses closed as a result of COVID. And a large portion of our businesses could not qualify for EIDL or PPP funding. And lenders said it is because our people don't have their numbers together. We want to change that by putting you in a class so you can get your numbers together. But most importantly, you will know something about running that business and how much it takes to run it and how much money you can commit to come through the door, and also what to do with profit. Most people think you're supposed to roll it back into the business and spend it. Not at all. You'll never get loans, access to capital, investor, if every dime that comes into the business goes back out. That's the death trap we find ourselves in. We're opening up this opportunity because we're wanting to raise more scholarship dollars. The second reason why we do our conference every 6 months, takes money to train people. And we go after sponsors that will provide donations, but we also raise scholarship dollars because there are people coming from across the nation that want to get into the class, but we can't train everyone without having scholarship dollars committed so that we can provide the scholarship funds for the entrepreneur to get in the training program. And so we're pushing to get our scholarships raised because we have a commitment to impact our Black entrepreneurial community. We do that through great people that know us and great people that serve in different capacities in our organization. And we do that through some of the people you're going to meet. So today, one of our conference speakers is with us today, one of our roundtable seminar session speakers for Friday, tomorrow. It starts tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, 8 a.m. Central Time. We open with our keynote speaker, Mr. Stephen Walker. And we go right into our roundtable discussion of what will it take. Ladies and gentlemen, it takes a lot more than what we've seen and a lot more than what we know to do business at the next level. And so today, one of our speakers, Mr. Carlos V. Spencer, is with me. And I'm so excited to bring him up before you. And so I'm going to bring him up on the stage for him to introduce himself to you. And I have to get my power cord before I lose my battery. So Mr. Carlos Spencer, if you'll go ahead and talk to the audience and tell them about who you are and what you do in business while I get my power cord.
Yes, go ahead. Don't want to lose your power, Mr. Thank you so much. My name is Carlos V. Spencer. I'm a keynote speaker. I'm a vision producer. I'm an entrepreneur, have several other businesses as well, as a lot of the people have done during this pandemic, I've opened up a couple more businesses as well. So I'm an entrepreneur by trade, but my love, my passion, my devotion is speaking, training, equipping people to help them find out what their gift is and to help them maximize on their gift as well. So the Vision Producer is what I go by. If you type in Carlos V. Spencer on any social media, you'll find me on any platform, just as long as you put that V in there for Carlos V. Spencer. And I love what you're doing, Mr. Net, in the Black Mastermind. Just love being around these wonderful, successful, intelligent Black people where I'm learning so much from and gleaning from myself as well.
Thank you. Thank you. So we want to know, I know your story, but most of the audience doesn't. It's an amazing story. How did you get started on this entrepreneurial journey?
So for me, two things that are pivotal that stand out for me. I'll give the later one first, and then I'll go back and give the beginning one. A lot of people may not know the very beginning story. I don't even know if I've shared this one with you, but I'll be quick. The second one is just speaking. I was speaking, loving it, doing it, and kind of doing it, graduation here and there, a banquet here and there. And I'm a minister as well. And so my brother, just one day, he said to me, the same way that I feel when I hear people speak in motivational settings is the same way I feel after I've heard you speak and minister. And it clicked right there. It flashed all across my mind all the times I had done this. And so I immediately started to put a business into practice. I immediately started to put social media, website, business partners, and different things, business plans together to actually do this full time, to actually push towards it and not just let it happen. The other portion was I do theater. So that's one of my loves as well. And long story short, I had one of those grandmothers who was the first lady of the church who did everything. And so we had a gentleman who was Broadway taught, who was teaching theater. And unfortunately, he passed away. There was a Christmas program coming up. My grandmother was doing everything else. She wanted to pick that up too. I said, Granny, I'll help you do the Christmas skit. And when I wrote that thing, Mr. Netta, that it was, I knew at that moment that was a gift. I was like, this is a gift. This is something I have to do. And 19 years since then, I've still been doing theater, live musical theater full time. So that started, and my brother kind of breathed on it.
Wow. And so what I want to say is that this is prime example of how alignment happens with your gifting. And so when you have the core of who you are, and you're operating from the core of who you are, when you open up additional revenue streams, there is some alignment there. We believe that God said he would bless the work of our hand. If we look at our hand, there's, most people, when I ask the question, how many elements to the hand, they say there's 5. There's actually 6. The main element is the largest portion of your hand, and that is where your calling, your gifting, your anointing, that's what he said he would prosper. That's the core of who you are. And then all of these other aspects are the 5 additional revenue streams you can have when you have proper alignment. So you don't own a theater company and a shoe store. That's out of alignment. You don't own a theater company and a daycare center. That's out of alignment. You're not focused. You're all over the place. And consequently, no one will fund a single dime to you, whether it's an investor you're needing dollars from, family or friends, because they see you all over the place. And whether it's a banker, the first thing they'll tell you, you have no focus. At least Dr. Watson will tell you, you have no focus. And now we got to find out who God called you to be in business. Because when you find out where your calling is, it is so easy to flow right into it. And that's what basically you've shared. It was a calling, it was a gifting and an anointing that you didn't even probably know you had it till you operated in it the first time. And the light bulb came on. I was created to do this. It's no work. It's probably one of the most enjoyable, energizing things you do, because when we find what we're called to do, it's not work. It's pleasure. It's fun. It's enjoyment. It's revigorating and rejuvenating us. And it's why we don't look old when we do and operate in our gifting. So, Carlos, tell our audience, what they're going to hear when you speak tomorrow. Carlos is a very powerful speaker, and he has some sayings that I've never heard before. When you hear the Carlos isms, they're very specific to who he is as a man of God and a leader. So share with the audience what they're going to hear from you tomorrow.
Yeah, one of the biggest things for me is vision. Like I said, Carlos V. Spencer, you see that via my name, the Vision Producer. You'll see branding over a lot of my social media. One of the things I love to talk to people about is about vision. Where there's no vision, the people perish, which also means the people go unrestrained. So when there is no vision, there's nothing restraining you. There's nothing
Wow.
keeping you in and keeping you intact and locking you into what you're doing. The most important thing I love about that, and I'll share this and I'll jump off of it, is a lot of people miss the true importance of it. It's not the vision itself, but it's when you have a vision and you establish it, which is also a business plan, which is also something you're going towards, which is also your gifting, and you start to establish this. Once you do that, you now notice when you're off of it. So two things. One, you shouldn't beat yourself up. A lot of people spend too much time, oh, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to. No, you don't establish a vision or a plan to beat yourself up when you're off of it. You establish it so that you can see when you're off and you have a guide to pull you back on.
Yes.
So one thing is going to get you there faster. Number two is when you're off, you have something to pull you back onto it. Because if you have nothing there, you never know when you're off. And that's when a lot of people go aimless, like what you were saying. That's when people are doing things and they're all over the place. They have no vision to even show them, I'm all over the place. So I love to help people start to establish that, because when they establish that for themselves, synchronicities, one of my business partners, he used that word. You start to pull other things that come to your gift, and you start to see what's not. That ain't got nothing to do with my gift, because I've established my vision. That ain't for me. Everything that look good to you ain't good for you. That's just not for me. Everything that's good, people think it's automatically gonna look bad. Your vision shows you that it could be good. It could be money. It could be an opportunity, but it just doesn't line up with your vision. So just because it looks good, some people jump onto it. Establish that vision. It helps you see clearly, shows you when you're off. More importantly, it shows you that you need to get back on.
Wow, that's powerful, ladies and gentlemen. So, and as well, the Word of God tells us to write it so that he that readeth it can run with it. That means those people that's supposed to be part of your team has a full understanding of your vision. They read it. They understand, I see. So that's why we do what we do. That's why they say what they say. And that's why we operate the way we operate. I understand how I fit in the vision. And now I can run with you. I can hook up with you, link with you, become part of what you're doing, because my vision matches your vision. And it brings value to your organization, and it brings value to me when I'm part of your vision. And so that's so important on this journey, that we have written a vision down and we have actually put it somewhere where it is our guidepost. You know, oftentimes people, you know, the business plan has been turned into something that our community really, you know, when you say, do you have a business plan? No. And I don't know how to start one. And all you have to do is sit down and write what God's given you to do. And I remember my first one that I wrote, gosh, over 20 something years ago. I wrote it in one day. And I wrote down everything. And as I wrote, more came. And as I wrote, more came. And I had a full business plan in one day, because I was seeking, what am I called to do? And how do I take my giftings to the marketplace? And we're going to help you go a step further in the organization, because today they need strategic plans. Today they need financial plans. And so in order for you to cast the vision, first of all, you got to count the cost. You got to know how much it's going to cost to execute the vision. And so without having that as a guidepost, we find ourselves undervaluing and devaluing the process, and then we don't get paid correctly. Something we see oftentimes in our organization. Our entrepreneurs think it's good to come in lower than everyone else instead of positioning right alongside everybody else. And so those are the things we're going to talk about in the conference. It's every aspect of the conference. On Saturday, the breakout sessions are dealing with entrepreneurship, marketing and sales, financial strategies. And then we have our Young Black Mastermind segment too. And so, Carlos, tell people why it's so important for them to come to the conference. You know, this is something that they probably haven't seen roundtable discussions before. Share with them why you think it's important for them to be there for the roundtable discussion.
Most conferences themselves, when you have a conference, I've heard it said, you'll know where you'll end up in the next 5 years of your life based on the books that you read and the conferences you attend. Now I'm gonna say that again. You will know where you will end up in the next 5 years of your life based on the books that you read and the conferences that you attend. Our world is small usually because our words are small. And sometimes we find, well, how come I can't get to the next level? It's a language. God is the word of God. In the beginning was the word. It's everywhere you look. In the Bible, the word debar means word. It also means thing. That means biblically, a word is an actual thing. You will be around people who are speaking a conversation in different words that will ignite something within you that will now cause you to go to a different level. I became a New York State trooper because of a language. Somebody's a doctor or a lawyer. I'm not minimizing what they do, but I'm telling you, they became a doctor or a lawyer because of the language that they learned. They spent time studying information, equipping themselves, and getting around people who knew this language and taught them this language. You want to be in this conference tomorrow because if you're an entrepreneur and whatever you're trying to do, if you're trying to find somebody further down the road than you are, and I want to go towards that road, you need to be around somebody who is successful and who can teach you the language of success. And somebody who's watching saying, yo, I want to be successful. I want to make $1 million. Well, if you could do that, you would have done it already. Why can't you do that? Because something's stopping you. What's stopping you? The information, the language, and the right people that you're not around. You come to conferences like this to get around the right people. Some people say, yo, if you're the richest person in your circle, you're in the wrong circle. Smartest person in your circle, you're in the wrong circle. How can I get to a new circle? Conferences. I tell people all the time, if you want to find out how to be able to get into a new circle like that, get into a conference and listen to the language. And I promise you, you'll hear something from someone who will say something to you that will ignite a gift within you that will raise you to another level.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, that's absolutely powerful. I've never heard it explained that way. So I'm going to have to take you everywhere I go, Carlos, and give you the microphone. And tell people why they need to be here. It is the language of business, which is strictly financial. You can't play any other game. The rules of it are strictly financial. You got to understand the language when people are talking about business. It is strictly from a financial perspective. Not I like what I do and it's making a lot of money and we do well. That's not cutting it. You got to know what's the industry analysis, what's the average, what's your profit margin, what's your sales forecast, what are you doing in the business that's going to propel you to the next level, all from a financial perspective. The language of business is strictly financial. And we're heavy in that arena. I'm sorry, that's just what it takes to get us there, because everyone else, our counterparts, already know the rules to the game. They're swinging home runs, hitting that ball all the way out of the park. The reason is because they have a very good grasp of the financial side of business. We're going to try to move you that direction and put the pieces together, which starts with mindset development. First of all, having a mindset towards success is critical. And I see you shaking your head, Carlos, and you understand that importance of having that mindset that we can do this. There isn't anything we cannot do if we set our mind to it. And so we ask that question, what will it take? I hope, ladies and gentlemen, we've helped you understand what it will take to get to that next level and get on the journey towards success. Anything you want to say to the audience before we part, Carlos? Our time is wrapping up.
Yeah, just merely get around the right people. Get around the right people. Get the information. I'll encourage somebody who's watching right now. You're not by yourself. You're not the only one that's struggling. I'll say this: struggle is a part of success. If you talk to anybody who's been successful, there's not a person who has gained success and they don't have a struggle to be a part of it. Sometimes we don't understand that when we're going through it. Like, what's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with you. Struggle is a part of the success part. So if you're going through the struggle part, I just encourage you, don't give up, because why would you go through struggle and not get the success? So you're not by yourself. Get into conferences, get around people like this. It's a mastermind. That's a whole other thing I want to get into. Doctor, you taught me so much about that mastermind. And where 2 or 3 are gathered, there I am in the midst. I won't touch that mastermind within itself. You'll literally be jumping into a mastermind. So it's just a beautiful thing. Be there, get something out of it.
Yes, thank you so very much, Carlos. So guys, go to the website today. Actually, ladies and gentlemen, is the last day to register. Unfortunately, the platform that we're on can't allow you to register the hour of. So if you're one of the people that you say, to get it done, I'll get it done. And then the hour before you try to get it done, you're not going to have a great relationship with the platform when you try to do it right before it's time to walk in the door. Most organizations, you got to show up early to get a seat. You can't wait till the 5 minutes before the door closes to get a ticket and run in. We tend to do that in our community. And unfortunately, virtual platforms don't allow you. And if you do it, you might not get back in. You might get a ticket, but not get into the event. So we want you to register today. This is the last day for registration. And we are so very excited for the speakers that we have, similar to this amazing, brilliant young man, Carlos V. Spencer, the Vision Man. So you've got to come and hear what these people have to say that will propel you to the next level. And we want to say before closing, always, children who have an entrepreneurial spirit are always free. We never charge for the children. This year, you're going to hear from Raising a Mogul founder, the mother of some amazing children who are on already millionaires, multi-millionaires, Zantro Cunningham, who is doing amazing things across the nation. The children are free. So parents, please, please, please register your kids. Let them see themselves, somebody that looks like them, somebody doing things that are unexpected. At the age she started at 9 years of age, and now she's 21 and a multi-millionaire. Tell me it's not possible for your kid too. Information is all they need and the ability to apply it. And that's what we teach in our Young Black Mastermind program, the same ability to apply knowledge that the adults have. We're opening up that understanding for the children. So register the kids absolutely free. It's a 3-day event, Friday morning, tomorrow, 8 a.m. Central Time, Saturday, 8 a.m. Central Time. We wrap up at 12:30, and Sunday we're back for the graduation at 2:30 p.m. We have a multi-millionaire, almost billionaire. I bet he is one that will be the commencement speaker. Again, Carlos, the people you're around and the language they speak. If you want to get to a millionaire level, you better hang around some millionaires. If you think billionaire level is impossible, let us show you. This is the third billionaire we've had on the platform, because it is indeed possible for Black people to become billionaires. And that means you too. Thank you, Carlos, for being with me today. Thank you so much for what you shared. And we will see you tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, go to the website, theblackmastermindgroup.com. Click on the 2021 conference tab, get registered. Register your children, your nieces, your nephews, your grandchildren, your brothers, your sisters, any and every kid up to 18. They can attend the event absolutely free. God bless you. Looking to hear you tomorrow, Carlos. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
God bless you. Thank you. You too.